It is no secret to longtime fans of the channel that trading card games have been a big influence in my life, both on and off the channel. In this series, both DemonBattler and myself will be opening 24 packs, or one box, of each core Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster set in chronological order. After each opening, we will build decks from all of the cards we have opened thus far, then duel each other in a best-of-3 match with 3 prizes up for grabs to improve our decks. The winner will receive 2 of those prizes, and the loser will get 1. The possibilities for prizes are almost limitless, including single cards, sealed product, structure decks, and much more. Every card in the entire game's history will be obtainable in some form. However, neither of us will be able to rest on past laurels easily. The ever-changing official Forbidden and Limited list, our own choices of cards to be banished to the Shadow Realm, and even changes to the very rules of the game will keep our decks and duels fresh. This is yet another Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression series. Now, before I get started with the main set, I do want to go over some promos that we failed to distribute at the end of the last episode. There were the GX Tag Force 2 promos, and one of them is very meta-impactful, which is one that I will get. It is Dark Bribe. There will be several other chances for us to get Dark Bribe later on, but this is the chance that we have first, and this is a pretty powerful card. It lets you negate a spell trap, but your opponent draws a card off of it. It's pretty good. It's almost Solemn Judgment. And then Demon will be getting Mad Reloader and Chaos Burst, which are... they're okay. I think one of them might wind up in some deck he makes, but we will need to see. But for now, let's go ahead and move on to the main set. Phantom Darkness was released February 13th, 2008. While the set did not introduce any new archetypes, it introduced a lot of support for existing archetypes, plus it introduced a lot of generic Dark Monster support. This set has a lot of incredibly impactful cards that shaped the format for quite some time, but most of them are at high rarity, so they won't impact us too much in a limited environment. There are some pretty cool cards that I will need to go over at the low rarity slot. Samsara Lotus is a banned card for several combos that will be coming up later on. I don't think we will be able to use them for Progression series, though. We do have a couple of new Destiny heroes. They're not great, but we do have the support for them there. We do have a couple new Geminis as well, but none of them at this rarity are particularly good. We have Gladiator Beast Darius, which is a key Gladiator Beast support card. This will let you summon a Glad out of your graveyard, but its effect is negated. This is a very good way to go into the Gladiator Beast fusions that we will have later on. This will be a 2-3 of in the Gladiator Beast deck. And then we also have the Calculator. There is a deck that is out there involving high-level monsters and the Calculator. What this does is it has attack power equal to the combined levels of all face-up monsters you control multiplied by 300. There are a number of special summonable monsters with very high levels, and there was at this point, it was pretty janky, but at this point, before Dark Arm Dragon completely infested the format, there were players that were messing around with Yubel Calculator decks. A Blue Thunder T45 is pretty good machine support. It is a 1700 beater that if it destroys a monster by battle, you can summon a Thunder option token that has 1500 attack and defense. The only drawback is it can't be used for a tribute summon, but this can be used for synchro plays once we get to 5D's era. And the token is pretty sizable. There's nothing stopping it from attacking either. So this will go into machine-focused decks. It's also a light, which is really important. We also have Gladiator Proving Ground. This is a Rhoda for the Gladiator Beast archetype, and one of the things that vaults it into playability, along with some support in the next set, Light of Destruction. There's also all-out attacks, while not good now, will be a very good support floodgate later to prevent special summons, or really at least disincentivize them, because it forces all special summoned monsters to face up attack position, and they must attack during the turn that they are special summoned. This is also a card that can cause loops, so there could be a very silly way to abuse this with certain flip effect monsters. Now, the rare slot is where things get really good. We also do have some short prints as well. The biggest one is Chain Material. This will let you fusion summon and banish monsters for fusion materials. So you can make fusion monsters by banishing from your hand, deck, or graveyard, which can actually fuel return from the different dimension and dimension fusion plays for me. You do give up your battle phase to do so, but there are some combos with this. Unfortunately, we won't be able to abuse those because of some high rarity cards that require this. Now, at the rare slot, we have some very powerful cards. We do have Gigaplant, which is a very playable Gemini monster, one of the few playable Gemini monsters in the game. It's a 2401 tribute, whose Gemini effect lets you special summon an insect or plant monster from your hand or graveyard. There is a Gemini deck that tries to turbo out Super Alloy Beast Raptinus, which treats all Gemini monsters as their Gemini effects. And if you have 2 of these, you can just play a Cannon Soldier or a Mass Driver and OTK your opponent with it. So if we do get 3 copies of Gigaplant, I may consider making that Mass Driver deck with Super Alloy Beast Raptinus. It's a really silly OTK. It's not the most consistent, but it is hilarious, and it will be able to make use of Gigaplant through other means later on once we have cards like Supervise. We will get access to Supervise in a limited capacity, but we'll only get 1 copy of it. We also have Super Polymerization. This is going to be a big game changer for me specifically because I have 2 Chimera Tech Overdragons. There is a combo that I've been waiting to play involving Cyber Dragon, DNA Surgery, and this card, where you can fusion summon a Chimera Tech Overdragon with everything your opponent has on the field. So I've been looking to play a machine deck for a while, but I've been waiting until this card comes out. Hopefully we can snag a couple copies of it. We also have 6 Samurai United. This is a card that forced 6 Samurai to the top of the meta very briefly. This is effectively Pot of Greed for 6 Samurai. Every time a 6 Samurai monsters are summoned, you get to place a Bushido counter on it, up to 2, and then you can send it to the graveyard to draw a card for each Bushido counter. So it's effectively Pot of Greed. And then the last super noteworthy rare is Lone Fire Blossom. Lone Fire Blossom is a staple of plant decks. It's still semi-limited in the OCG today. What this does is it lets you once per turn tribute a face-up plant monster to special summon a plant monster from your deck. This can get things like Gigaplant. Gigaplant's probably the best target we have for it now, but in 5Ds we'll get Titanial, Princess of Camellias, which is one of the largest plant monsters in the game, and is a pretty respectable boss monster that you can just search out from deck and plop it straight to the field. Now, at the super rare slot, we have some pretty impactful cards as well. This is where the fireworks really start. We have Cyber Valley, which is a very flexible card. You get to draw a card and then end the battle phase if it gets attacked. You can cycle 2 monsters on your field to draw a couple of cards. There's a lot of different things that Cyber Valley does. This is a pretty powerful control tool. Then we have Armageddon Knight, which is a very powerful dark support, still limited to this day. When it's summoned, you get to Foolish Burial for a dark monster. This can dump all sorts of things in your graveyard. It can set up your graveyard for chaos plays. You can dump things like Plague Spreader Zombie once we get it in Crossroads of Chaos. There are a lot of things you can do with this card. Field Commander Roz is a kind of reinforcement of the army. You get to put a warrior-type monster of level 4 or lower on top of your deck. It's not great, but it will see play in the Warrior Toolbox decks. And then the last super rare I want to talk about is Prime Material Dragon. So Prime Material Dragon is one of the more interesting 1 tribute monsters. It's a 2400 body, which is on par for a 1 tribute monster, and it also has built-in protection. It has a quick effect that will allow you to negate any card or effect that destroys monsters on the field. And this is not once per turn either. So this is a pretty powerful 1 tribute monster that has built-in protection. The ultra rare slot has some pretty powerful boss monster. It has Dark Horus, Dark Nephthys, Dark Knight Parshoth, which are dark versions of some pretty iconic monsters. We also have super ancient Deep Sea King Coelacanth, which has some OTKs associated with it in Edison format, but I don't think we're going to play it because you want to really see this card as consistently as possible in that deck. We also have the Chase Ultra of the set, which is Allure of Darkness. So Allure of Darkness is a very powerful card. This lets you draw 2, and then you either banish a dark monster from your hand, or if you don't have any, you lose your entire hand. This is a staple of dark-focused archetypes, and even sees play in dark-focused decks today. Then the last Ultra I want to discuss is Metal Reflect Slime. This is good for the Calculator deck because it is a level 10 monster with 3000 defense. This is very difficult for us to get over. And then, oh boy, the secret rares in this set are something else. We have Dark Creator, we have Dark Greffer. Dark Greffer is pretty powerful. You can special summon it by discarding a level 5 or higher Dark Monster, then once per turn you can discard a Dark Monster and Foolish Burial for a Dark Monster. This card is limited to this day for that reason, because it sets up graveyard plays very easily. And here's the big animal in the room that caused a number of players to quit the game in droves. Dark Armed Dragon. So Dark Armed Dragon is one of the most ridiculous boss monsters in the game and spawned arguably the first tier 0 deck in the game. This card, in multiple iterations, dominated the format for a year and a half before it finally wound up getting limited. This was a $350 card on its release, and completely priced most players out of the game. If you were lucky enough to pull one of these, you would just dominate your locals. So what this does is it's a 2800 7-star monster that must be specialed from your hand just by having exactly 3 dark monsters in your graveyard. The special summon on this is not once per turn, so if you have more than one, you can drop multiples of these, and then you can banish a dark monster from your graveyard to destroy any card on the field. That is not once per turn either. So you can just special this, blow away 3 of your opponent's cards, and attack for lethal. And if you have any way to recycle banished cards, such as a DD Scout Plane, things just get out of hand from there. We also had an interesting reprint set that was distributed in an unusual way. Dark Revelation 4 was released to big box stores on November 14th, 2007. This was only purchasable in 2-pack blister packs, which is why the cards from this set are also expensive, even the commons. Just because the only way you could get this was from big box stores. There were not booster boxes of this set that you could get at your local game store. These came in 2-pack blister packs only. This set is a reprint set of Cybernetic Revolution, Elemental Energy, Shadow of Infinity, and Enemy of Justice, with some rarities switched around, mostly not in your favor. There are also some reprints at the secret rare slot of Xarian Universe, DD Assailant, Kaiba Man. I just don't think this set is worth it, just because all of the good cards got upshifted and all of the bad cards got downshifted. There's not one single good downshift in this set, because the Drillroid, look at Drillroid at Super, Miracle Fusion, Dragon's Mirror at Super, Hydrogeddon Super Rare, Macrocosmos Icarus Attack Super. This set is just not worth it. And even a lot of rarity upshifts on good cards like Steamroid, Gyroid, Tyranno Infinity. There's just so many cards that are bad and got downshifted, like Water Dragon, and the Skyscraper is not terrible, but it's had enough reprints at this point. A lot of the Dark World cards that were at common got upshifted to rare. Cyber Barrier and Cyber Laser at rare, and those cards are just not good. This was just a very greedy set on Konami's part, and I want no part of it. But it is an option if you want it for this set for some reason. We did also have a new Champion Pack that came to local game stores, Champion Pack 5, on January 8th of 2008. This set actually has some pretty cool reprints in it. Demon might actually go after this Champion Pack because there is common DD Crow, and he missed out on DD Crow. But that's the only common in here that he would want. I don't want anything to do with this one. This does have Anti-Spell Fragrance in it, which is, this is a card that sees play today and is a very powerful floodgate. It stops spell cards from being activated on the same turn, so they would have to wait. There are some cool rare reprints in here, like Pulling the Rug, but I'm not too terribly interested in this pack. There are also 2 new Duelist packs that came out as well on January 26th of 2008. They are Jaden Yuki 3, which is the Evil Hero Duelist pack, and Jesse Anderson, which is the Crystal Beast pack. So we'll go over this one first. There is an Air Hummingbird reprint, which is nice, but I'm not really interested in that card. There is a Neos Alias reprint at common. If you want to play Evil Hero, this is the pack to go after. This has a Captain Gold reprint at rare. It has Dark Calling, which is Miracle Fusion for specifically for evil heroes. And I do have 2 copies of Infernal Wings, so if I do want to play this deck, I may actually go after a couple packs of this set, but I think I'm going to be spinning the wildcard wheel mostly. And then we also have Jesse Anderson. Now this one, Demon might also go after. This does not reprint Sapphire Pegasus, unfortunately, mostly because Konami wanted to sell the Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus tin. But this does reprint the rest of the Crystal Beasts at low rarity and the support. And it also introduces some new support for Crystal Beasts that are surprisingly good. Hand Destruction debuted in this Duelist pack as well, and is one of the more expensive cards from this Duelist pack. At the lower rarities. But we do have some new cards as well. It's like Crystal Pear is effectively a Waboku that special summons a Crystal Beast from your deck and puts it in your spell and trap zone. There's also, at Super Rare, there's Crystal Tree, which is probably the best Crystal Beast support in the set. Each time a Crystal Beast monster is placed in a spell trap zone, you get a crystal counter on it, and then you can send it to the graveyard to put that many Crystal Beasts in your spell trap zone. So this can load up your back row pretty quickly. And he has a pretty competent Crystal Beast deck, so I think he might go after this pack for that reason. There's also some extremely strong cards in this pack that will be good later on, like Grinder Golem. Grinder Golem is absolutely unplayable right now. What this does is it gives your opponent a 3k body and gives you 2 Grinder tokens. It also takes up your normal summon for the turn. This is completely unplayable now, but will be very, very strong once we get to Lynx. It's the same argument for Phantom Skyblaster. This card is currently limited because of its interaction with Link monsters. If you have any one monster on the field when you normal summon Phantom Skyblaster, you can use those tokens to go into a Link form. I'm about as ready as I am ever going to be for this. 24 packs of Phantom Darkness. This is real nervous time, because while the set as a whole isn't amazing, it has a lot of high rarity, high impact cards, and all it takes is pulling one of them to greatly impact deck construction. So let's go ahead and get started with our first pack. And we got a banger right off the start. We got Lone Fire Blossom. We're going to want to see 2 of these because this card is going to be semi-limited for an extremely long time. And there are a lot of plant-based combos that you can enable with this card, being able to access any monster that is a plant type from your deck. Most likely Gigaplant, but there are some other interactions that we will have access to in the future. We also got a copy of Blue Thunder T45, which will make the machine deck as well. And we got another Lone Fire Blossom. That's pretty much all we need, just because Lone Fire Blossom will be semi-limited. We also got a Gladiator Proving Ground. It's very important that we get 3 of these to be able to have any chance of playing Gladiator Beast after Light of Destruction. And there's another Proving Ground, another Darius. The Glad stuff is coming together, but the Gladiator Beast deck really hinges on what we get out of Light of Destruction. We really need Geyserus out of that set before we can play a deck like Gladiator Beast. We just need some kind of extra deck card. And there's a third Lone Fire Blossom. That is fantastic. If we can pick up a couple of Gigaplants, we may see ourselves playing a plant deck. But we got the half, now we just need the other half. And there's our first super rare. Unfortunately, it is not very good. It is Golden Flying Fish, which is a fish engine. So this may be playable once we get to early Zexal era and we have a lot of fish support. Because this can pop anything, and it's a decent-sized body, but it's also not water, which is a problem. That's one of the reasons why it's not great, is because just Golden Flying Fish being a light instead of a water tends to get in the way with those kinds of decks. And that finishes up our playset of Darius, which is nice. We don't have to worry about Darius. Since these sets are large, getting playsets of commons is not guaranteed. Oh, that's one of the big rares I'm looking for. That's a Super Poly. I would like to see one more Super Poly before the end of the box, but that turns on our Chimera Tech Overdragon. We are pretty heavily incentivized to play Machine, but just any big holo can change things around. But that is one of the cards that we didn't get to see in Season 1 either, was a Super Polymerization. But now that I have a Super Poly, I'm definitely going to make use of it. There's a Proving Ground. That is our playset, so we have that on lock. There's a Dark Illusion. This is an interesting rare. This is an Omni Negate for targeting any dark monster. So if we're playing a heavy dark focus deck, we can play this to be able to protect our monsters. It's pretty strong. So about halfway through the box, and we still only have one holo. We got a lot of the rares that we're looking for, though, which is nice. But I would like to see one just amazing holo. Just all it takes in this set is just one holo, and your opening goes from below average to incredibly above average. And there's a Gigaplant! That's one of the cards we were looking for at the rare slot. There are just so many good rares in this set, and we've gotten most of them. We're still looking for one or two, but that is the first Gigaplant, and we are well on our way to playing a plant deck of some kind. Oh! That's a huge hit. That's one of the cards I was talking about. That is an ultimate rare, Allure of Darkness. We are going to include that in every Dark Focus deck we play for the rest of time. That's all it takes with this set, is just one pull. One pull, and your box goes from below average to above average, just like that. Allure of Darkness. Demon had this last time, now I've got it. Just give me that Dark Focused archetype, and we will be off to the races. I think that's our fourth Lone Fire Blossom. We don't need any more Lone Fire Blossoms. I would like the other half of the plant engine, and then we can start abusing Lone Fire Blossom. Although one Gigaplant is enough to use it, because then those Lone Fire Blossoms effectively become copies of Gigaplant for purposes of getting it on the table. But I would really like one or two more copies of Gigaplant to really start abusing the card. And there is a super rare. Unfortunately, it is not a very good super rare. It is Yubel. It is the most usable out of the cycle, but it's still meh. I'm more excited about Fires of Doomsday. This is a card that will not be good now, but once we get to 5D's era, this card will be very strong for reasons that I'm not able to discuss until we get to 5D's era, but trust me, this card is going to be very impactful. And there's another Dark Illusion. This good Dark support keeps coming. 2 Dark Illusion is going to be very strong for some Dark-focused archetypes in 5Ds. And there's another super rare that is one of the good ones. It is Prime Material Dragon. This is effectively a Monarch with built-in protection, and if we do bring a Monarch-style deck back, that's probably going to replace Kaiser Glider. But that really depends on what we snag out of some upcoming sets, because we do have some Monarch reprints coming. Alright, so only a few packs to go. I would like to see one more Super Poly or one more Gigaplant before we go to the end of this box, so we got 3 chances left to get it, and that is not it. Offering to the Snake Deity is the first one of those that we've seen, and this is Icarus Attack for Reptiles. So in any sort of reptile-focused archetype, that card is quite good. But the rest of these we already have or are not relevant to our format. So let's go ahead and move on to our second to last pack. Would like to see one more good hit. That is an ultra rare. That is Dark Horus. What this does is it's a 3K2 tribute that lets you special summon a level 4 dark monster in your graveyard by resolving a spell card during your opponent's main phase. This is a build around, but it is quite powerful. It's just a little difficult to get out. That's not really the ultra rare I was looking for, but we have hit about the expected number of holos. I kind of don't want to see a holo in this next pack. I kind of want to just see a super polymerization. That's not a super polymerization, but that's pretty good. That's a second copy of Gigaplant. That's enough to play the deck, especially if we can wildcard another copy of it. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this. We got a big hit in Allure of Darkness. We got 1 super poly. We got 2 Gigaplant. Depending on how this goes, I might be able to get another copy of Super Polymerization off of a wildcard. But I'm going to be spinning wildcards for a while just because of how impactful these sets are. But I'm pretty happy with what I got. There's that Allure of Darkness. That's a very powerful card that is going to see play for the rest of the Progression series. I'll see you in deck edit. Well, what can I say? I was gonna run something janky if this wasn't for a gold sarcophagus, but since there is a gold sarcophagus on the line, I do need to run the most consistent deck I have, which is this one. So this is the deck that we'll be taking to the Phantom Darkness duel. I did want to use my Crush Card Virus, and I wanted to use my Allure of Darkness, but I don't really have a good archetype that can take advantage of that quite yet. I'm hoping that changes when we get around to 5Ds and I can rock that in some Blackwing, but for now, I'm going to run this deck. Probably going to play this deck until he bans it. So this is the same Legendary Ocean deck that we have been playing for the last several duels. I have changed a couple of things, but most of it, including the Monster Suite, is completely unchanged. One Abyss Soldier, one Amphibious Boogroth Mark III, double Aqua Spirit, one BES Crystal Core, one Crystal Seer, one Cyberjar, two Fenrir, two one Fiberjar, excuse me, two Mermaid Knight, one Legendary Fisherman, double Warrior of Atlantis, Witch of the Black Forest, and the 5 normals for our monsters. For the spells, we have triple ALO, one Book of Moon, one Confiscation, one Dimension Fusion, two My Body is a Shield. I moved these to the main deck because I'm very sick and tired of having to play around Sakuretsu armor, so this will let me play around it a little bit more. It does cost me some life points, but that's okay, because my monsters are probably bigger than his. One MST, one Painful Choice, one Pot of Greed, double Terraforming, and then for the traps, Call of the Haunted, triple Compulse, Mirror Force, Ring of Destruction, 7 Tools of the Bandit, and Solemn Judgment. And the extra we don't use, the side has changed slightly. And we still have the triple DD Crow. The biggest change to the side deck is I have 2 copies of Field Barrier. So what this is this allows me to protect my Legendary Ocean from field spells, which is really nice. Demon doesn't have a lot of targeted back row removal, so this will keep a Legendary Ocean on the field, preventing it from being destroyed by anything, and then it will also prevent him from activating his field spell to get over it as well. So if he is playing on a deck that has a field spell, then we will side this in. A double Prohib, double Smashing Ground, one Dust Tornado, double Sack, the second 7 tools, and then double Shadow Mirror. This is another big duel because there are a lot of important prize packs on the line as well as that gold sarcophagus, but I am about as ready as I'm going to be for this one. It is time to get your game on!
So, time for us to enter one of the most disgusting sets of the series.
It is a pretty disgusting set. Thankfully, this is just a few days after Phantom Darkness came out, so no one here in Houston has cards.
Right.
I am really looking forward to getting a gold sarcophagus, and hopefully I can get it on today's duel.
Yeah, I'm really hoping I can break this losing streak.
No kidding. Well, that's a good start.
Damn. Alright.
I will take the play. Good luck, duelist.
Good luck.
Alright, draw for turn. Stand by main. This is a good start.
Yeah, that's a good start, alright.
This is also a good start.
Oh, man!
What you got? On the Dark Worlds, I see.
You want to be a bro and drop the Silva?
Nah, let's get rid of the Trunade.
Alright.
I don't like that Magic Cylinder very much, though, but you are right, I do have it.
Shit.
As if I was gonna play anything else, go ahead.
Alright.
Not gonna lie.
By main.
Not gonna lie, if this duel wasn't for a Gold Sark, I would be playing something else, but this deck is way too consistent.
Right. If only Mobius were a level 5, I could at least drop him on the field. But
yeah, I noticed your hand was a little bricky.
I guess I'll just set a couple and pass.
Draw for turn, stand by main. I'll go ahead and run out this BES Crystal Core.
Alright.
I'll proceed to the battle phase. I will attack with Crystal Core into your set, which is
Gonna be the khaki.
And then I will proceed to take 2650.
Yep.
I gotta play through it. Go.
Draw. Stand by main. I will set a card and pass.
Draw for turn, stand by main. I'll run out a Warrior of Atlantis.
Alright.
I'm gonna proceed to battle. Warrior of Atlantis into your set.
Alright, that was my beige.
And then I'll remove a counter to attack. It'll be 23 and 2650. Big hits. Go.
Draw. Yeah, that was quick.
Yep. What can I
All
say?
right.
What can I say? I've said it for the last few duels. Big numbers hit hard.
Yes, they do. But at least I get to go on the play now.
You do.
Draw, standby main. I think I'm going to just set a monster and pass.
Draw for turn, standby, main. Might as well.
Yeah, alright, that's good.
I'll go ahead and fire terraforming.
Of course. Alright.
There's that. Big boy.
Alright.
26 into your set.
You fool! You hit my 300 defense!
Ah, so you have a Crystal Seer as well. This card's sweet.
Yeah, I forgot to use it last time. So let's see what we hit. Ooh.
Rainbow Dark Dragon.
Well, that's not quite how I wanted to...
Then.
That's not quite how I wanted you to learn about this card.
It's not dad, but it's still scary. Like, that's not dad.
As much as I would love to pick that up, I think Brawn is probably my better play.
Main phase 2, I will set 3. Go.
Alright, draw. Standby, main. I think I'm going to start by setting a card face down. Then I'm going to special summon my Sidra.
That is a Cyber Dragon.
And then I will also set a monster and pass.
Draw for turn, standby, main. I am just going to go to battle and clear out the Sidra.
Alright.
And then I will pass the turn.
Draw. Standby, main. Ooh, there's a play. Actually, that's not a bad idea at all. Alright, so I'm going to start by sacrificing my Sandkin to summon out my gold, Woo Lord of Dark World.
You have a gold.
I have a Sandkin.
You do have a Sandkin effect.
I'm going to add... I guess I'll add a new card. Another new card. My Armageddon Knight.
Oh, you got an Armageddon Knight. That card's sick.
I'm going to activate Call of the Haunted, targeting my Sandkin. Do you have any response?
That's pretty good. You got it.
Alright. I'm going to run out Heavy Storm.
That's gross. That's bad. Let's go ahead and compulse your gold.
Alright.
You get some good ones. I
Judgment.
thought about judgmenting the Heavy Storm, but I don't think
I
it's worth
figured
it.
I figured I'd either get my Sandkin off again, or I get to or I'll be able to clear your field. So I guess I'll go ahead and add my DD Warrior Lady to hand this time.
Yep.
I really don't like doing this now, but I have to press an advantage. I'm going to banish my Sandkin and my Cyber Dragon.
Oh, you have Emperor. Oh, BLS. Yep.
Yeah, Emperor's banned.
I'm thinking of the other series.
Fair. Alright.
Uh,
Let's go ahead and hit.
36 in.
Main phase 2.
Gross.
I will pass.
Draw for turn. Standby, main. I'm just gonna set 2 and pass.
Alright. Draw. Standby, main. Ooh, that's a pretty good one. I'm gonna activate Dark World Dealings.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So each draw, then discard. And I know you have a gold.
I have a gold. The question is...
What can be better than gold? Oh god, if you... It's so bad.
I drew something, and I kind of wish it was a different thing, but yeah, I'm gonna run out the gold.
You got it.
Let's see. Then I'm going to... Yeah, I'm gonna go into battle. Let's hit for 3.
I do have Mirror Force, thankfully, so I'm not dead.
That is why I am glad I did not do that yet. I'm going to set a monster and pass.
Draw for turn. Standby, main. Oh, thank god.
Ooh, good choice. Alright.
What do I not want to draw? Go for that. 2 bunguses. Then what do I not want to draw? And what is the last thing I don't want to draw? Probably that. There's the pile. So it's Crystal Seer, 2 bunguses, a Confi, and a DD Crow.
Let's see. Honestly, as much as I want to give you a bungus, I feel like you probably have ALO in your hand. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the Crystal Seer.
I'm going to set a monster. Could be anything. And I'll pass
Could be
the turn.
anything. Alright, I draw. Stand by main. Ooh, that's not a bad one. Alright, so I'm going to start by flip summoning my Magical Merchant.
Yup. That's
Merch
pretty
gonna
good.
merch. That's a pretty good pickup.
Yeah, sack is pretty good.
Now, what do I want to do? I'm going to summon my Armageddon Knight.
That's pretty good. What you dumping?
Let's see what we can afford to lose.
You can't dump Plague Spreader yet.
I think I'm going to dump my Silva. Unfortunately, I can't. Unfortunately, this does not trigger Silva's effect,
No, it
but
does not.
at the very least, I could get out of it. So, alright, battle phase. Merch into your Seer.
It is the Crystal Seer. So
The fact that Merchant can actually beat over that is hilarious. Ooh,
I'm going to take
that's
the
a pretty good card.
Aqua Spirit. And then this will go
All
on the
right.
bottom.
And Armageddon Knight hits you for
I
14.
do have Call of the Haunted.
Ooh. Okay.
I am assuming you're not going to redeclare.
Unfortunately. Well, main 2. I'll set a couple of cards, and I will pass.
Draw for turn, stand by, main. I'm going to make you make some very hard decisions. I am going to banish Amphibious and Terror King Salmon for a Fenrir.
Ooh.
I am going to banish Terror King Salmon and Crystal Seer
Oh.
for another Fenrir.
Oh, that's a real problem.
I will normal summon Mermaid Knight.
Oh, God.
I will proceed to the battle phase.
Okay.
Fenrir into your Magical Merchant.
Oh, man. God damn.
Want to sack it?
I'm going to... God, I don't like that because Alright, you know what? I'm gonna have to lose my next draw phase regardless, so I'm gonna Book of Moon my Merchant.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yep. So you'll get to merch again. Oh, you got another sack. That's pretty good. So then you skip your draw.
I will turn off auto draw.
I'm going to attack with Mermaid Knight into your Armageddon Knight.
That will be 100 damage.
And then I'm going to proceed to put this Giga Gaga Gigo into my graveyard.
Yes, you will.
Yep.
And I will take 1400 from the wolf.
You will. Go.
Alright. Skip draw phase. Standby. Main. Well, the good news for me is that I actually have a somewhat useful way of clearing a bit of this out. I'm going to run out Brawn, Mad King of Dark.
Oh, that's gross.
Brawn's going to go in and take out a Fenrir.
I take 4. You're going to get a big boy.
Actually, I'm not. I get to activate Brawn's effect and pitch Khaki to pop your other Fenrir.
Yeah, that's pretty good also.
Main phase 2, I will set 1 card and I will pass.
Draw for turn, stand by, main.
I know you have Aqua Spirit, but Aqua Spirit itself cannot deal with it with Brawn directly,
Correct.
and you don't have a way to clear me. So I actually have a little breathing room here.
I'm going to pass the turn, and then during your standby phase, I'm going to shift your Brawn to defense position.
All right. Main phase 1. Let's see. Let's go ahead and run out our DD Warrior Lady.
That's pretty good.
Battle. Warrior Lady will hit into your defense. Let's see what you've got.
Would you like to banish?
Ooh, let's see. You have 2 Fenrir already gone. You have 1 Aqua Spirit out. I'm going to assume you have at least 1 more, and probably a 3rd Fenrir. Mermaid Knight can be picked up. Gaga Gigo could get picked up. Salmon could get picked up. Yeah, as much as I don't want to do it, I feel like I have to banish.
Yep.
Alright. Main phase 2, I will set a card, and I will pass the turn.
Draw for turn, stand by, main. I think this plays around sack the best. This is going to seem weird, but I'm actually going to run out Warrior of Atlantis as a monster. I'm
Alright.
going to go to battle phase. I'm going to hit into the defense position Brawn.
All right.
Aqua Spirit 16 direct.
I will take 35 full.
Okay, go.
Draw. Standby main. And 100 points off. Unfortunately, I have to admit defeat.
What?
Because I have a Saku. My other face down is Trunate, and I just drew Mystic Plasma. So even if you didn't draw a monster next turn, your lowest to output is 3,100.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, and that basically made it unimportant anyway.
Yeah,
Damn.
That was a good set. I get the feeling that Legendary Ocean is probably getting banned very soon. The question is, do you want to ban just the Legendary Ocean, or do you want to ban Umi, which would ban all versions of that card? That'll be a question to be answered our next duel.
Right.
Well, that makes me a happy camper. It could end up getting banned depending on what you spin.
True.
All right, good stuff.
Good stuff. Let's see. Was there anything else that I ended up drawing that I didn't show? No, it looks like that was pretty. No, it looks like Armageddon and Rainbow Dark was pretty much the only notables, really.
So around this time in Yu-Gi-Oh's history, there were a swath of promotional cards that we won't be able to get anywhere else in the game for quite some time. So we have a lot of those to go over. We're going to be starting the promo listing with the GX Tag Force Evolution promos, which are pretty good. This has the nurse. A lot of this is just nurse burn stuff. It
really is.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and grab the Dark Lord Nurse Reticule, and then you can take one of the other ones.
Which I honestly don't even remember what exactly these two do. Let's see. Dark Cure. When your opponent summons a monster, they gain life equal to half the attack of one of the monsters of your choice. And Brutal Potion. This card becomes an equip. Once per turn, you inflict damage to your opponent with a card effect. The equipped monster gains 1,000 attack. Wow, both of these stuck, actually. Well, I think I'm going to take the Dark Cure just because that one helps a lot more with the Nurse Burn deck in general, so maybe I can make use of it later, but at the same time, this also keeps you from having it.
And then next is one of the really big promo sets. The World Championship promo cards are almost always really good. And the 2008 game, I actually did get this one. This was no exception. 2 of the 3 cards are pretty strong, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Dimensional Prison.
Yeah, unsurprising. That's probably the best promo card this year, so I'm going to take the Burden of the Mighty, because until we hit Xyz format, this is actually a pretty useful card, and a pretty good little floodgate, because it doesn't do anything to stop your opponent from attacking, per se, but it makes them have to make the effort in order to, overcome it.
No, that card's really strong. And it is notorious for being in almost every early game deck in the 5Ds DS games. It makes it very difficult to win duels in the early game.
It really does.
And then these next 2 cards we're going to be treating as a set. We had a couple of miscellaneous promo cards that came out. Lad in particular had a very unusual method in which it was released. I believe this was a big box store promo?
I think so. Yeah, now I remember, because it was I want to say you got a few packs of something. I think it might have been Phantom Darkness or something along those lines, or maybe it was a Dark Revelation pack.
Oh, you know what?
You also ended up getting a copy of Lad as a promotional card to go with it, because it was 2 or 3 packs of the reprint and then the Lad.
And then there was also a Shonen Jump promo that came out that you're gonna like, because you're gonna be getting this one. But I will go ahead and scoop up this Lad.
All right. So yeah, the card that we're looking at is called Vandalion?
Vandalgion, the Dark Dragon Lord.
Actually, let me look and see what it is real quick.
It's a counter trap payoff.
Hang on, I need to pull it up because I forgot to pull that one up.
Essentially what it does is whenever you use a counter trap to negate something, you get a huge body and then you get a special effect on top of it. It's pretty strong. It's almost like a much better version of Voltanus.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty good card. 2800 attack, level 8. You can summon this card, and if it's... Oh, okay, so it's depending on the type of card it negates. Oh, wow, yeah, this is pretty strong. Negate a spell, inflict 1500 damage, negate a trap, target and destroy a card your opponent controls. That's actually pretty nice. And then for a monster, you could get a Monster Reborn effect. That's actually really...
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? This is actually something I'm gonna be happy about, because I didn't really pay attention to that.
And then we have the 2007 Collector's Tins, which they came out in 2 waves, but we're treating this as 1 unit to make sure we get the same number of cards. I really hate to burst your bubble on this, but I am going to go ahead and grab the Sapphire Pegasus, because that was the one thing I was missing. I was missing.
Come on!
That was the only card I was missing to play Crystal Beast.
God damn it, right. Well, you know what? I guess I can't be too upset, because, let's be real, if you didn't, you were gonna ban Pegasus at some point, right?
Probably something else out of the deck.
But I mean, if you ban any of the Crystal Beasts, it kills the deck entirely, so... it sucks, but I recognize why. The sad part is the rest of these cards honestly suck. Like Doomfire, I already have 2 of, and I can't play it.
If only we could get a Tri-Blaze Accelerator. I have a Doomfire also.
And let's see, we both have Rainbow Dragon. What does Plasma Vice even do? Sparkman and Blade Edge. Okay. You know what? It's as ridiculous as it is, I think I'll take the Plasma Vice, because it actually isn't that bad.
No,
piercing damage, and you could discard a card to pop an opponent's attack monster.
No, it's not. It's not bad at all. That being the case, I'm going to go ahead and grab the Plasma.
Yeah, I figured as much. Well, I guess I'm going to go full-on Jesse Anderson, and I'll take a second Rainbow Dragon then.
And I'll go ahead and grab a second Doomfire in case I ever get the chance to get a Tri-Blaze Accelerator, but I doubt it.
And that leaves me with the Grand Neos, which, yay, yet another Elemental Hero Neos fusion that I'm never gonna summon.
Yep, and then we have one more set of magazine promos to discuss, none of which will really impact our meta. This was a set of 4 magazine promos that were released in early 2008. None of these cards are particularly relevant to our meta, but I think the best one of these, even though it's a little slow, is probably Blastsphere. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the Blastsphere.
You know, I was really hoping you weren't going to pick that one, because I personally wanted to keep that one, to get that one, but I'm not entirely shocked. But you know what? That's fine. That means I actually get to channel my inner Joey Wheeler and take the Copycat card.
I'll go ahead and grab...
Which honestly, this is actually a pretty good card in general, though, because if nothing else, this lets you match your opponent's strongest monster, and if nothing, so effectively it's at the very least removal. And if you have a way to clear it, you can still get a big body on the field then.
Yep, and then I'll go ahead and grab Cloning.
Which then leaves me with Relieve Monster, which I don't even know what this card does. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, target a monster you control, return that target to the hand, special summon a level 4 from your hand. I mean, I guess it's not the worst thing in the world, but...
And then, of course, this card I'm super excited to have, because I ended up winning that duel after going to Houston. I will get to add a copy of Gold Sarcophagus to my collection.
Yep.
So, surprising no one, after DemonBattler took his 4th loss in a row to this Legendary Ocean deck, he has chosen to ban Umi. So what this does is it's not only going to ban Umi itself, but it will ban every single card that has its name treated as Umi. And there are going to be some archetypes that take advantage of this that we will no longer be able to play. But I'm kind of okay with not playing this deck anymore, because this deck was incredibly toxic to our format, specifically because he just couldn't get anything out that made things bigger. So I'm okay with this leaving the format. Alright, so we are in the winner's circle for a 4th week in a row, but that'll be the last time that we will win with that water deck, because Umi is banned. I am going to be spinning for wildcards, specifically looking for some of the higher end stuff, and there are also a few other even low rarity cards I'm looking for out of Phantom Darkness and some of the more recent sets. So let's go ahead and take a first spin, see what we wind up with. There's actually no SJC prize card this time. But that does get introduced with the next set. So if we do end up spinning the SJC prize wheel, then we will need to respin. Unfortunately, we get a common wild card. I'm going to see if there are any commons that I am still missing copies of, and I will be right back. So, after much deliberation, the best common that I don't already have a playset of is Gladiator Beast Hoplimus. I only pulled one of these out of Gladiator's Assault. So I'm going to grab a second copy, and I'm going to lock that in. And then we'll go back for our spin for winning. I will take anything on this wheel except for a common wild card. See what we wind up with. Can you get over to that rare, please? Thank you. Alright. I have a big decision to make, because there are 5 or 6 rares that I can possibly get. So I'm going to think about this one. And my choice for the second wildcard as a rare is going to be Super Polymerization. I have a very silly deck idea that I could play in the next set if I don't get a Lightsworn Core, and it would be a great last hurrah for GX. You'll have to find out what that is next time. So that'll wrap it up for today's episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression Series. Next time will be our graduation match, and then we head over to probably the golden age of Yu-Gi-Oh's history. Until then, see you around.